Okay, the title today is Using Compasses. And the first thing I'd like you to do today is to write out the paragraph shown here and fill in the gaps to describe the image on the left. You don't need to draw the image in your books, it's just a quick recap of last lesson. So please write this paragraph out and fill in the gaps. So pause the video here. And now we'll move on to the answers. So the plotting compass always points towards the South Pole and away from the North Pole of the magnet. By using several plotting compasses, we can plot the shape of the magnetic field lines. We know that the direction is always from north to south, so we can show the direction using arrows. So as we go along, you should tick your work or correct it. So towards the South Pole from the North Pole, magnetic field lines from north to south and arrows. So we should get a score out of 5 there. And marked in a different coloured pen. Good. So first of all, what is a compass? A compass is a device that will face the North Pole of the Earth unless it is in the presence of another magnetic field. So last week we looked at what happens when a compass is put in another magnetic field. So for example, near a bar magnet, but in general, if they're not in the magnetic field of something else, they will face the North Pole of the Earth. A compass comprises of a magnetic needle mounted on a pivot. It's mounted on a pivot so it can move freely, and the red end shown here will always point north. So that will show you where north is. So why do compasses point north? They point north because the Earth itself has a magnetic field. The North Pole of the Earth's magnetic field is really, really close to what we call the geographical North Pole. So the compass will always point towards the magnetic North Pole of the Earth. The reason that the Earth has a magnetic field is because it has an iron core. When a compass is placed in the magnetic field, which is all around the Earth, so at any point on the Earth's surface, the compass needle will line up with the magnetic field and face towards the North Pole. And if you'd like to add it to your notes, you can draw a quick sketch of just the Earth with a few magnetic field lines around it. As I'm sure you're aware, compasses are really useful for navigation. So because the compass points north, if we use a compass in conjunction with a map, we can use it to navigate. So if you want to find out what route to take to get to a certain point, you can use your map as well as your compass to find which way is easier. Now, most of you will not use this method, but you will instead use your phone, so something that looks a bit like this. This is an image from the iPhone, but if you press this arrow here, you can then choose to face north. So your map will turn around so that north is facing upwards. So you can have it on this setting, or you can have it on the setting where your map is facing in the direction that your phone is currently facing. So although you might not use a physical compass, you can still use this compass function on your phones. So I'd recommend you have a look at that. Okay, at this point I'd like you to pause the video and you'll need to exit this video and follow the link to a YouTube video about the magnetic field around a wire. So pause at this point, please. Okay, you should have now watched the video. So here are some follow-up questions. So if you need to, please go back to the video and re-watch, but do give each of these questions a go. So these questions should be answered in your book. Number 1, at the start of the video, what direction were the plotting compasses facing? Number 2, what did the man do to change the direction the compasses were facing? Number 3, What does this tell us about a wire with a current passing through it? Number 4, how did he change the direction of the compasses again? So how did he change the direction of the compasses for the second time? So answer these in your books, please, and pause the video here before we go on to the answers. Okay, so let's go on to the answers, and marking in a different coloured pen again. So, number 1, at the start of the video, the compasses were facing the Earth's magnetic North Pole. So you need to say that it's facing the North Pole, or the Earth's North Pole, or the Earth's magnetic North Pole. Number 2, he changed the direction the compasses were facing by putting a current through the wire. And following on to number 3, this tells us that a wire with a current passing through it has a magnetic field. So it has a magnetic field surrounding it, which is why the compasses moved. And he then changed the direction the compasses were facing again because he passed the current through in a different direction. So he changed the direction of the current, which changed the direction the compasses were pointing. So please either add to your answers or give them a tick if you got them completely right. And we'll move on. So what I'd like you to do is firstly copy this diagram into your book, and then we'll add some labels. So this here in the middle, this is a wire with a current passing through, and these circles around the edges all represent plotting compasses. So you can think of this as us viewing from the top. So this is what we call the cross section of the wire here in the middle, and these are the plotting compasses around the outside. So based on what you've seen from the video, I'd like you to add in the direction that each of these plotting compasses is facing. So this one at the top has been done for you, so this plotting compass is facing left, and I'd like you to give it a go. In which direction are all of the other plotting compasses facing? So based off what you saw in the video, what direction are all of the other plotting compasses facing? So pause the video here and give that a go. Okay, and now we'll move on to the answers. So your diagram should look like this. So each of the plotting compasses is facing in a different direction, and they're making this circle around the wire. So through this we could plot our field lines around the wire like this, and they're all going in this direction. So we get a circular magnetic field. If we were to reverse the direction that the current through the wire is going, then our compasses would all face in the opposite directions around the circle. So they could potentially go this way. But for this question, this top one was already given to you, so you know that it had to be going in an anti-clockwise direction. So all of your plotting compasses should be facing in an anti-clockwise direction. Okay, great. So that is all you need to do in terms of note-taking today. So that's the end of our notes today, but there are just a couple of other things that I'd like to show you. So first off, this is just for interest. So these are 2 pieces of art by an artist called Brian Pike. Brian Pike is known for creating images out of sand, but he's also done some work with magnetised iron filings. So on the left, you can see an image of a clown, and on the right is an image of a field. And he did all of these with tiny little iron filings, which he then magnetised to make the pictures that we see here, which is really impressive. So that's just a quick note. You can research him a bit further if you're interested. And next, what I'd like you to do is to do some work from the Purple Book. So I've uploaded these pages. So please either edit on Google Classroom, so the PDF that's uploaded, or work in your Purple Book and then take a picture and scan in with Genius Scan app, please. So either working from the book or the app, because there are some diagrams, so I don't want you to have to draw them out in your notes. So either working from the Purple Book or editing on the app, please. And after you've done that, if you manage to finish in the lesson, there are 2 optional tasks for you to do. The first one is a really clear step-by-step method to make your own compass. So I'll put the link up on the Google Classroom page as well. And option 2 is to research, how do birds navigate? So this is a really interesting question, so I'll put a link to 1 or 2 articles up on Google Classroom as well. Please let me know in the comments which of these 2 options you choose, and let me know how it goes as well. Okay, thank you.